So in this video, I'm going to go through my cash envelope setup, fill in my funds tracker, stuff my cash envelope with some money, and then talk about some simple budget routines that I use that has helped our family manage our money. For those of you that may not know, I'm Marianne, and through my planning and budgeting, I hope to inspire self-assured women who may sometimes feel a little bit lost or overwhelmed. Use planning as part of their self-care in order for them to focus on something, and then that way give themselves some space and grace to allow them to get back at the good things that they are great at. Now, all items mentioned and shown in today's video, I'll have the links in the description below. So a cash envelope system is what it does. It helps you track your spending across, the several categories that you have for your budgeting system, where you take some money, put some money aside, and then that way, rather than using your credit card. So the way it works is let's just say for your grocery, you take the money out. Let's say if your, monthly budget is $500, you will take that cash out of your bank and put it in a cash envelope. So then that way, that is the money that you have set aside to spend for that month, and then you're not willy-nilly just tapping your credit card at the supermarket. And the idea is that studies have shown that by using cash, it triggers a pain point in your brain. So they did a study, a big study where they, put those electrodes or whatever they're called on people's brains to see that when they're handing in cash, it actually causes pain. Because what happens is you give the money, whether you get some change or no change, it causes pain. But however, what happens when you tap your credit card, you don't see money being exchanged, you just see the goods. So then that way the cash envelope system allows you to make sure that you're not spending your money at a drop of a hat. So that is what the cash envelope system is, and it's a great budgeting tool to help you get out of debt as well as manage your money a lot better. So just a little backstory. So back in 2017, we had over $22,000 in debt. We were living paycheck to paycheck, and, we would get first reminders, second reminders, final reminders, disconnection letters for our utility bills because we weren't good with our money. We just didn't know how to use our money properly. And then so we had enough. I had heard of Dave Ramsey on YouTube, and then later in 2019 I discovered the Budget Mom, and I used their system to help us get out of debt, stay out of debt, and be financially responsible. So just a quick disclaimer, I do not and cannot give any financial advice. I just show some simple budgeting routines that we use in our family that hopefully you can get inspiration from, and then you can do your own research and of what will work for you and your family and money. All right, so let me just quickly have a look. Everyone's so also excited for you to be here, excited for everyone to be here. Thank you so much. So let me just get started. I will put my desk. So I'm going to set up my cash envelope and then explain along the way all other useful information that you might find interesting. So I am currently in my Filofax Zaffiano compact zip organizer, and I'll be changing into my personal size Mediterranean organizer. So I'm going to swap out the contents. So I do have the links. That's a little bit too close. Ooh, too close. Okay, so I'm just going to get all the contents out of this and pop it into my other one. I am a Filofax ambassador, which means I do get Filofax products to use and experience and share with you how I use it in my day-to-day planning and budgeting. So let me just swap it out, so then that way we have a nice clear finish. Whoop. And of course I didn't do that gracefully. So what I have in here, I have my cash envelopes, I have my funds tracker, as well as the Budget Mums Savings Challenge printable and cash envelopes as well. So I'm going to be updating my funds tracker because I have filled them out, some of them. Okay, so there we are. And so earlier I spoke about cash envelopes and how it's used traditionally. So like I said, you would take money out for certain budget categories, and that's the amount that you spend at each month. And then of course, if you have any leftovers, you can either put that again towards the next month's budget, or you can put it towards another goal, savings goals that you have. But since getting out of debt in 2018 and my family establishing a better financial habit, I actually no longer use the cash envelope system for the big category budgets. I have separate debit accounts that I use for grocery, for our rent, for our utility bills, for any other big budget categories. So what I use my cash envelopes for are for those irregular small spends that don't happen regularly, but I know those spends will come up. So so I've stopped taking money out of the bank for the bigger expenses, because now we're a little bit better and we no longer have credit cards, and we're not in a position to be not as financially responsible with our money. So, and we don't have any credit cards because I know for myself, I am not good with them. When I first was able to get credit cards when I was 18, I just racked up to the max. And then there was the 7 or 10 year period where you were banned from getting credit cards. And then once the ban were lifted, I got more credit cards in 2004, and again maxed it out, and then again another 7 years. And then when we did, I thought I'd be better because I was older. No. So I am no good with credit cards, and so I no longer get them. So for our cash envelopes, what I use them for now is for sinking funds for our small irregular spend. So what are sinking funds? So sinking funds are small amount that you save every month for a specific goal. So if you have a savings goal or purpose like irregular expenses that you don't pay every month. So that could be for savings if you wanted to save for a holiday. So if you know you're going to go on holiday in 4 months' time, and then you need a certain amount, like say 3,000 for the next 4 months, you will save 3,000 divided by 4, that amount. So then when the time arrives, you're not going to rely on your credit card. Or for us, our sinking fund is our utility bills, which comes out every quarter. So I know on average, looking at previous bills, gas might be $150. So for the next 3 months, I will save $50. So by the time the bill arrives, we have the funds available already, and then that way we're not caught out having to dip into that month's pay, which then that's what leads you having to live paycheck to paycheck, because you're just catching up. You're robbing Peter to pay Paul. Well, the utility bill's here, so I better take some money that would otherwise go to some other funds. So also a great sinking fund you can have is your Christmas budget. Christmas comes the same time every year, and you've got 11 to 12 months to save up for it. So budget how much you're going to spend on each person in your family, add that up, I normally divide it by 11 months, because by the December I'd be using that money. And then that way you're not putting those gifts on credit card and having to pay for those gifts in December for the rest of the year. So do you need credit cards to build credit? I keep hearing that I need more cards to grow my credit. So with that one, I can't give you advice with that, but with regards to credit score, and I think it's been said that your credit score, higher credit score, just means that you're able to borrow more. So with that one, Elle, best to, probably find out a little bit more with regards to credit score and borrowing to, money in order to build that. So again, because especially in Australia, we are not able to provide any financial advice if we are not licensed, and I don't want to get myself in trouble. So just do make sure with regards to that. Find out in your area what it's all about. But for us, of course, we don't have credit anymore. So if we were to borrow money, I guess we would just show things like, paying our bills on time, and that we have savings put aside, and that we're paying our rent. So I guess it'll be a different way or avenue that we need to take. But again, that's just us for our personal thing. And once we do have enough money for a home deposit, hopefully I'll learn more about it myself when the time comes. So like I said, my cash envelopes now are for the smaller, irregular expenses like treats for my boys. Okay. So treats for my boys. I have a 14 and a 15-year-old, so they're, constantly growing out of their clothes. So I need to have money put aside for socks and undies, for our haircuts, so it doesn't come very often. So I need to put some money aside. My younger son and my husband go to the barber, so they pay cash, and then my older son and I go to my hairdresser. I put money aside. So Opal cards are our public transport tap on cards. So I need to make sure that that's top up. So if we do need to travel and use the train, light rail, bus or ferry, we have some money in our transport card. And also money for my skincare. Hey, Elle. Need to make sure I need to buy more skincare stuff, and then money for my husband's beer fund. So like I said earlier, I normally have debit accounts or savings accounts for our bigger budget categories, but the amounts that I save in these categories are not are small and is not enough to warrant its own savings account. So I could easily, if I wanted to, have money to just dip into for any of these categories. But by categorizing your spend, then you can manage your money a lot better, because then you're not going to go, well, I might dip into my husband's beer fund to buy myself some new mascara. So that's not fair on him, because then if he needs his beer, he won't have any money in there. So that's why it's important for me to set money aside for each individual categories. So let me know if you have any questions with regards to sinking funds and what type of, what sort of things you can save up for. But yeah, big savings, or if you want to put some money aside for that pair of shoes or that bag, and it's a little bit of our luxury, give yourself permission to save for it rather than having to dip into this month's money. So planning ahead gives you an opportunity and permission to spend your money on what you want. So Miko from the Budget Moms philosophy is, while you are trying to get out of debt, or if you're saving up for something, don't forget to enjoy life and give yourself permission to spend a little bit enjoying time with your family and friends, going out to dinner, going on holiday, because life is too short if we are sort of like watching all our, cents and pennies, and then we're not spending time with our family or giving ourselves that little reward that we deserve for doing the hard work. Then it's important to make sure that we are putting money aside and we're not just spending it willy-nilly like we were prior to 2017, and then, sort of regret, oh, we should have a house by now if we didn't spend all that money. So, all right, so today I will be stuffing my cash envelopes. Like I said, I went through the different categories. I took some money out of the bank. So I'm here in Australia. So we have these beautiful, colorful money. So I only take 10s and 20s. Sometimes I do take some $5 notes. But I find if it's a smaller amount, then it's easier to just go, all right, we're only spending $10, rather than if I had, let's say, a $50 note in the cash envelopes, I'm more likely to spend it. But by sort of like breaking it down into the smaller denominations, then I sort of limit my spending to that much. So what I did with my cash envelopes here, I used these little sticky note flags with a label using my Dymo label maker, and then that way I can reuse my envelopes. So if you do get other envelopes from other providers, like the Budget Mum, she's got quite a few free cash envelopes printable. At the back she has a funds tracker that you can fill in. But if you did want to use your cash envelopes and then recycle them next month or the next year, you can use a funds tracker like I do, and then this is where I write how much money is in each envelope, and then I have an idea of how much is left, if I have to top it up the next month, or if there's any left over, if I can use that for other savings category. So hopefully you guys are following me, and let me know if you have any questions with that. So let's have a look. All right, so for the boys envelope, I'm going to put, I wrote it down here, and this is the little tab that I gave my husband to get the denominations right. So for my boys envelope, I'm going to put $20. So then if we are out and about on a weekend, and then I want to get them ice cream or fairy floss for the younger one, I can easily take some money out of the cash envelope, pop it in my wallet, and then that way there is no there was a stage there where my young one had said, oh, we can't get that because it's too expensive, or it's we don't have the money. And I don't want him growing up, you know, hearing that or being limited. So we're not, you know, it's not that we don't spend money on them, but we just make sure that we're not spending lots of money on toys that they'll grow out of. So the boys' clothes, I'm going to put $40, because socks and undies, you know, they're both taller than me now. It's not hard. I'm only 4'10", but they're growing out of their socks and undies, and socks always have the holes in them. Now the haircuts, so I'm going to put 20, 30, 40. And in those ones, there were no cash in it, so I'll put $40 in there. The Opal card, I'm going to put 60, so 20, 40, 50, 60. So the adults transport cards minimum is $20, and then the kids transport card is minimum 10. So I like to make sure I have those denominations. So if my husband or I need to top up our public transport, we've got the money on hand. And then for myself, I'm going to have $40 because I need to buy some more the makeup remover. So 20, 30, 40, and there is $20 left over in there, so I'll make sure that I'll update that. And then hubby's beer fund, so Fridays he likes to go down just across the road to the liquor store and buy himself a 6-pack ready for the week, so I'll make sure that there's a little bit of money there for him. So that's the stuffing part of my cash envelopes. So again, my cash envelopes are for the small irregular spends that don't come up as often, but I need to make sure I have funds available, so then that way I don't feel like, you know, I don't have to say no if we didn't have the funds. Now I need to update my funds tracker here. So as you can see, this is all filled up. So let me make sure I update this. So let me just quickly show you. I did print. Let me see. Hopefully this works. So bear with me. And okay, add this to the stream. Okay, so on Instagram, I showed me trimming these cash envelopes printable. So I printed it on A4 paper and then trimmed the edges, so then that way it fits for the personal size dimension. I do also have this available in A5 size, so if you want to track your funds and you have an A5 size planner. I think I also have it in Happy Planner Classic. You can get it there as well. I won't put the music on because it is a music that's from Instagram and I don't want to get a copyright strike. So yeah, so I use my Fiskars. This one is the Precision Paper Trimmer, and so it's self sharpening because I do trim a lot of the paper planner inserts that I have. I invested in this one, so I do have the link for that in the description below if you do. And plus, of course, I homeschool as well, so we have a lot of homeschooling worksheets available. So let me see if I can then show you the next one is the, where am I? Bear with me. I don't often share my screen, so then I have to try and figure out which one it is. Let's see if it's this one. Yes, okay. All right, so this one I use a We Are Memory Keeper. Let me just put the volume down. Memory Keeper adjustable 6-hole puncher. So this hole puncher can do A5, personal, pocket, mini, and again, for a long time, I use just I'll show you the video, a single hole punch. So you don't have to go out and get all of these tools to be able to do paper planning and be able to choose the different planner printables that you want in your planner or your disc-bound planner. It's part of, for I think 3 or 4 years I'll show you the single hole puncher that I used. And then so that's the We Are Memory Keeper. Let me show you the other one that I have, where this one here, let's share it. So it was a single hole punch. So if you don't have to invest in
If you don't have one of these adjustable hole puncher, that's okay. All you need is a pencil, a template to mark the holes, and a single hole puncher like this one. Mark where the holes need to get punched, line up the pencil markings with the hole puncher, and punch away. Now you can hole punch any size planner insert you have. If you don't have one of these,
yeah, so that one is just here in Australia it's less than $4. So the other one I think is $40-50. So yeah, you don't have to have the most expensive tools, stationary tools to start planning. That one, like I said, less than $4. It's a single hole puncher. I used that for 3 or 4 years until one day I tried to hole punch too many pages at the same time, and it just like the mechanism just sort of like snapped. So don't do what I do by trying to take shortcuts and trying to hole punch too many pages. Even the expensive ones, it's only suggested to hole punch 3 to 4 pages at a time, especially like the thinner pages. So but yeah, so that's the hole puncher. Your kids learning to budget is very useful. Yes, I wish someone taught that in school on how to budget, just putting some money aside. So my oldest son, we pay him for some chores, not all of it, and then I have told him with that pay, put some money for savings, put some money to give as well. And so he already has a little emergency fund. So he's 15 and he has $500 set aside. So then that way, if he wants to go and move out, in a few years' time, he knows how to manage and budget his own money. So, yeah, and no one taught us in school. They taught, if you had the same gusto in teaching us algebra as they in teaching us financial good financial routines, and then I only read the other day, so at school here in Australia, the banks come to the kindergarten school and give you a free savings tin that you can put your money in, and they give you a little bank card. So then every Friday you can put $1 in. And then I didn't know until later, now the bank has your child's information. So then when they turn 18, they go and market them those credit cards. So, yeah. So here they are giving you free stuff, thinking that, teaching our children to save. But in the end, they're really just, gathering those children's details. So when they can become of age, they can send them those credit card things. Oh, hello. Thank you, Vignesh. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. All right. So where were we? Let's get back right into it. So we have the funds tracker here. So what I do is I won't do it on screen because I know I want to make sure that some of you are going into your bedtime routine. So the first page, I just highlight the category, the border. So I'm going to use this as a running total, trying to do this nice and straight. All right, so as you can see here, this one is a running total of all the different cash envelopes funds tracker that I have. So I use the friction clicker erasable pen because I do make quite a bit of mistake with my, I'll show you. So, oops. Okay, so there we are. Oops. And then the rubber tip, the friction. So you use the rubber tip to create the friction. So it's actually not erasing it. It's just making the ink disappear. So look, there we go. We now have it. Now you can write in the correct amount. So this I'm going to do. So let's put, this is my running total for cash. And then I'm going to write individual ones for the other cash envelopes. So here I have the boys. I have boys' clothes. Let me see if I can. Okay. Boys' clothes. Do you know that's the first time I had people sort of want to give me told me they love me and want me to give them a kiss. No, I am sorry. I don't do that. All right, haircuts, opal cards, and then Marianne, and then Edward, my husband's. Be fun. Okay. So there we go. Let me make sure. Now, of course, if you are getting value in today's video, I do appreciate a thumbs up. Share it if I may think someone might find it useful. And of course, if you haven't yet subscribed, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. Okay, so now all I got to do is update each funds tracker with the amount of money that's inside. So this one, what's today's date? Today's the 13th of May. Plus 20, and I have $20 in there. Boys' clothes, plus 40. And so I will do this with all the funds tracker. And then that way, when I am looking at how much is left in each envelope, I know exactly how much I've spent. 13.05. I added $40 today, so it's $40. And then opal cards plus 60. And then of course, if I use any of the money that's in here, I would put minus whatever the amount. Now this one we know started out with $20 prior to me adding $40. So now we have 20, 40, 50, 60 because I added $40 in today's stuffing. So now I have $60. And then the final one is my husband's envelope plus $20. And then all I do, take my calculator, add up all the amount in each envelope. So 20 plus 60 plus 60 plus 40 plus 40 plus 20 equals 240. Is that right? No, because I had $20 starting in there. So which one? 20, 40, 40, 60, 60. Okay, I'll add it up. I know it should have 260 in total because I had that $20 starting balance in my envelope. Maybe I've written something plus 240, something incorrectly along the way. And that's why you have this friction erasable pen. All right, so that is my cash envelopes wallet stuffed for the week, or well, sorry, the month. And then I have updated my cash envelopes funds tracker. So then that way I have to go and take that because then the holes, there we go. So funds tracker, let me put these in there. Okay, so then that way, if I need to take money out of each envelope, I just update the funds tracker. So I'll put minus 20. Let's say if I bought, socks and undies. Now, because we have we only have notes from 5, 10, 20, 50, and 100. Everything else is coins. So if there is any change, what I'll do is I'll just use that change. I'll put it into, I have this big pickle jar that, we've cut the hole on top. Pop all the coins in there and just add it up later and put that towards one of the savings. So I don't put the coins back in here because, first of all, this particular envelope here doesn't have a closing, but I just put that savings, if it's all coins, put it in a coins savings jar. All right, so the other thing that I do have in my cash envelopes wallet is my Budget Mums savings challenges. So the other funds tracker I have here, so I created these clear divided tabs using laminating sheets. So and use my label maker. So cash, the total that I have in our debit accounts, sinking funds, as well as savings. So I'll update that when I look at my bank accounts. So that's all the other stuff there. Like I said, things that are in there. I put some savings for household stuff. Our washing machine is on its last leg. It's still working, but if it does break down, we have money set aside to replace it as well. So other things in there, my son's tuition for next year. So we put money aside for this year for any camps or any of his subjects. And then, so I've got all of that here. So the next thing that I have is the Budget Mums savings challenge. So the printable she gives out for free. It is in letter size, but I have made it smaller to fit personal. So I'll have it here later once the live is finished, and I'll add the link later to the video on how you can resize a letter printable down into personal size so it fits your personal planner nice and well. So savings challenges, she has tracker of how much you save for each month, and she has different savings challenges. So January, February, March. I got to print out April and May. I've been behind with my savings challenge, and she gives you printable for each month. So like I said, see how she has the funds tracker on the back of there. So these ones I know I'm not going to reuse them again, or I can just print it again another time. So I do write there how much money is in each of the cash envelopes wallet. So let me know, question of the day, do you have any fun savings challenges that you're participating in? So I know for me, I have my 52-week savings challenges. I also have the Budget Mums savings challenges. So do let me know in the chat, or if you are watching on replay, if you have any fun savings challenges. So I have other savings challenges that I normally do, like, saving for a home deposit, tuition, Christmas. But sometimes budgeting and saving is not the most sexy of things. So you want to make it fun in order to help motivate you. And if you're a planner like me, use your planner to good use by printing these lovely printables. So not yet, but yes. So, if you've got those, especially, I guess, for you, Elle, that certain sales are coming up, so if you need to top up any of your beauty, makeup, skincare, you've got funds set aside already. So for when those Black Fridays or those sales from, Sephora or all the different makeup and skincare sales that people have, you can have, because that's what I use my sinking funds for my envelopes for the skincare. Is so then when the one of the retailers here, when they have 40 to 50% off on the products that I use, even though I may not have used up my moisturizers yet, I know that when those sales come up, I've got money. I can then stock up on those beauty products, and then I'm getting such a big discount and not wait until I've run out. So still trying to pay off credit cards, but that's great. That's all, good. So it wasn't until, let me see if I can do my maths properly. So it wasn't until I was 42 that I started thinking about being financially responsible. But prior to that, paycheck to paycheck, lots of reminders, disconnection letters. There was one stage there where my boyfriend at the time, had only $1.50 to our name. And, so instead of getting sad about it, we took that $1.50, bought ourselves a miso soup. I had the soup, he had the tofu at the bottom of it, and we just walked around here in Sydney over at the Opera House. And so we remember that time as our poor days. And, you can do so many great things without having to spend so much money. And it proved to us that $1.50 went a long way, and we enjoyed each other's company. But I don't want to be in that position again, especially if there's emergencies that come up. So fantastic. I congratulate you, on your paying credit cards debt. So well done. Never pay full price, because it's the sale. Because some of those, my skincare is here in Australia, like $40, and so for full price. But whether they're at $20, it's not so bad. But I'll make sure now that I purchase skincare that's good for mine, instead of just using soap in the shower. So making sure I'm looking after my skin quite well. So so I'm so glad that you guys are thinking of using the cash envelope system, using sinking funds, paying off debts. Wonderful. But just be mindful, also have fun, and give yourself permission to spend if it's in line with your financial goals. So how do we get this cash envelopes printable? So just go to my website at mariannecresp.com. 10 of these in different colors that you can print, trim, glue, or double-side sticky tape and hole punch. So the next thing to do is to ensure that you have good financial routines. I have a video how I use the zero-based budget method to help you know where your money's going. So once the live is all fully done, click, tap or the link is in the description below. I appreciate you all being here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Bye.